Good morning, Patrick. How are you? Yeah, very nice to hear yours too, and very good to see you. So, thank you for being here with us, and Happy New Year. Okay. Our, Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Let's all get used to saying that. And I'd like to call this meeting to order, this regular meeting of the Taos County Board of County Commissions at 9:13 a.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Romero,
Present.
Commissioner Vihil,
Present.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Present.
Vice Chair Romero,
Present.
Chair Brush.
Present. Thank you very much. And this morning, we have some special guests from Living Word Ministries in Cuesta, Pastor Peter and Gail. So if you would please come up and help us with agenda item number 4, which is our inspirational devotion.
Thank you. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for the service that you do.
Is it turned on?
Now it is. So I'd like to just thank you for what you do and ask a blessing over each and every one of you, as well as the employees of our community, right? So let's just bow our heads. Father, we are grateful, Father, that we can call and just ask, Father, upon your presence as we enter a new year, Father. I pray the blessing, Father, from above over each of our commissioners, not only the commissioners, but their families as well, Father. Well, Father, we also ask for all the elected officials, Father, that your blessing would be upon them and all of those that are employed through our county, Father. And Father, I just pray as we go forward, that Father, that we may be able to make choices and decisions, Father, today that are going to impact our future in a mighty way. And I thank you, Father, for such a time as this. You have placed people to be able to make choices and decisions. We ask your blessing and your favor. We thank you, Father, for your presence. Watch over us, Father, as we step into the new year, and let your blessing and your favor be with us and guide us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Again, thank you very much, both of you, for being here with us and helping us to kick off this new year of work. And Commissioner Vihil, you wanted to add something to this
Yes,
part of
thank
our
you,
meeting. Yeah.
Chair. So I'd like to do a moment of silence. Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in observing a moment of silence to honor the memory of Andrew Gonzalez, as well as those we have lost in our community over the holidays. Losing family and friends and community members is always tough, and during the holidays most certainly does not make it easier. Our sincere condolences. Commissioners, I hope I can say this on our behalf to the Gonzalez family and for all those that lost loved ones. So if you'll join me.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And now I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for the pledge and the salute to the flag. And Commissioner Mascareñas, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And Vice Chair Romero, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag of New Mexico?
Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you, everybody. And this leads us to agenda item 6, which is approval of our agenda. And I would like to make a motion for approval with one minor adjustment. Item 10B should simply read approval of the December 7th, 2023 joint meeting minutes. The minutes are correct. We just have a little typo there. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote to approve our agenda?
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vihil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Our agenda is approved. This leads us to one of our favorite parts of the agenda, item 7, awards and recognition, where we get to acknowledge the good, hard work of the people who do the Taos County work. We've got Ms. Brandy here this morning from HR to talk us through starting item 7A, which is new hires for the month of December 2023.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, wait, Anissa, are you going to put the flyer up? Sorry. So this month in December, we did have 13 new hires. So that's very exciting. That's quite a few. Okay, thank you. So to start off, we have Elena. She went to our HCAP department. She is an outreach specialist. We have Daniel Dobbin, who started in the appraiser as an appraiser technician in the assessor's office. Katina Gonzalez, she went to solid waste administration as a collections clerk. We have Alex Romero. He went to fleet as a fleet apprentice. Adam V. Hill, Roger Martinez, Janice Fernandez, and Marcos Romero all went to the detention center. Pauline Valensky and Joseph Merle both went to fire and EMS. And Justin Dean went to the sheriff's department. And Johnny Ray Archuleta and Ian Roy Ball both went to our facilities department, which is also now fully staffed.
Thank you.
Welcome to Taos County.
Thank you, Brandy, and welcome everybody. I think some of us met some of the new folks at the holiday party a few weeks back. But I think what we're continuing to see is the impact of getting that compensation plan done last year, right? This is amazing. 13 people in all of them key roles. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And this takes us to item 7B, which is our years of service certificate for the month of December. And Manager Jaramillo, are you going to take this?
Yes.
Thank you.
Before we do our recognition, I would also like to recognize the people for the month of December that have had years of service. So for Public Works, Delbert Varela celebrated 18 years with the county. We have Bobby Lucero celebrated 7 years. Nina Abreu with E911 7. Stephen Kelg at EMS 7. That's fire and rescue soon to be. And Alfred Gonzalez with the Sheriff's Office, 4 years. John Gonzalez with the senior programs, 2 years. Our detention director, Michael Danny Garcia, 2 years. And Treasurer Marsha Martinez from the Treasurer's Office. And Darian Trujillo from 911 celebrating 1 year of service. Then with that, we're also want to recognize Sharon Borges from our senior programs and for celebrating 5 years of service with Taos County. She was not able to be here this morning. And Ms. Baca, if you could please come forward. And we do have to celebrate Patricia Baca. She's been with the county 15 years. Commissioner Vihil hired her as county assessor. And we can always call on Patsy, as we call her, or Pat, to go all out for us. And she, as for an example, this first thing this morning, she comes in here and make sure everything's ready, comes up and tells me, hey, Brent, it's cold in there. I'm trying to address it with the guys. And those little things that that Patsy does for us that a lot of people don't see, and it's behind the scenes. So years of service certificate in recognition of 15 years of service to Taos County presented to Patricia Baca, December 2008 to December 2023. Taos County Board of Commissioners, FR Bob Romero, District 1, Miguel Romero Jr., District 2, Darlene Vihil, District 3, and Janet Brush, District 4, Ronald Mascareñas, District 5, and Brent Jaramillo, County Manager. Thank you, Pat, for your.
Thank you so much, Ms. Baca, and thank you. I know Brent said you noticed a lot of little things, but those little things translate into big things, right? So we appreciate everything you do. And Commissioner Vihil, since you
Yes,
hired Patsy, you want to say
I guess
a few
I
things?
made a good move, huh? No, Patricia, as long as I've known her, she has always been the same, reliable, straightforward. You know, you never had to guess, and we love that about her, right? And as Brent stated very clearly, yes, all those little tiny things, we can always count on her. She's always working on the back end, and she loves our community. So you know that she's doing good work. Thank you, Patricia. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations. Okay, this takes us to item 7C. And with us this morning, we have Roberto Zaragoza, our E911 Communication Director, to introduce the Taos Central Dispatch Commendation Bar Program. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
Good morning, Madam Chair, County Commissioners. Thank you for your time today. Basically, what I want to do today, Roberto Zaragoza, E911 Director, I wanted to implement the Taos Central Dispatch Commendation Bar Program. And basically what that is the pins that you typically see like on law enforcement or military, each pin meaning something special or something, an achievement that they did throughout their career that they can look back to years down the road. It's basically a snapshot of their career, right? Because in my opinion, they're public servants, they're first responders, just like law enforcement, and I believe that their career needs to be memorialized, if you will, something tangible that they can look back on and say, remember this year I did this, or this year I was awarded this. So that's the basic gist of the program. And there was two main reasons. One, when I got here, I saw the need for the recognition of dispatchers. And I'm not talking about just here, Taos County, I'm talking nationwide, that the need for them to be recognized in that same breadth of law enforcement, because what they do is special and what they do is extraordinary. So they're no different than law enforcement, and for that I believe that their career through pins, while we don't wear uniforms, the hope is to get them like shadow boxes so they can display and kind of mark their career. The second reason, obviously sitting in that dispatch center in my office within earshot of them, I've come across some amazing things, or hearing some amazing things. They're excellent at what they do. I'm sure you've heard me stand up here before and brag about them, but I do have an amazing staff. They are all experienced and they're all well-trained and professional. So they make my job very easy. And I appreciate them for that. And being that I believe them to be first responders, I felt that their career in public service should be appreciated and documented so that they accumulate the special achievements through these pins and they can look back at the career with something tangible that outlines their accomplishments. I want them to display their pins to their family, their friends, their children, and for them to ask, hey, you know, what's the meaning behind this? Because I want their children, family, friends to be proud of them just like I am, just like our community is. The hope is that they continue to strive for excellence in their career and continue serving the community. And through these pins, I hope that they know that their work is impactful, special, and extraordinary. So I want to recognize them for that. And I want, you know, hopefully these pins will serve as a reminder when things are tough in the dispatch center or things are, you know, not going well, that their work is appreciated. So the first pins that we're going to give is the Intermediate Telecommunicator Award. And basically what that is just like every dispatcher needs to go to the state, to Santa Fe to get their basic telecommunicator license. The state, we just learned, also offers intermediate level and advanced level. Now this has been done for several years, and I can't understand why we've never submitted anything, but what I can tell you is Eliza Espinosa, our communications supervisor, and myself have worked hard on getting their training sent to Santa Fe so that they can get awarded. So the intermediate telecommunicator with years of service and with training as a combination of both, you're eligible for that award. And the hope, my goal at least, is that they're inspired to reach the highest level of certification here in New Mexico, which is advanced. And I think it'd be a pretty cool thing if we can have a dispatch center with full of advanced telecommunicators. That would be awesome. So the first award for intermediate telecommunicator I want to give is to Nina Abreu. Nina.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Our next intermediate telecommunicator award with years of service and training, Leonard Ortiz. Eliza Espinosa is the third recipient of that award. She is covering in the dispatch center right now. So I thank her as well for her service and her training.
We can all go bombard her after the meeting.
Yeah. And the next award that I wanted to give is going to be the Unit Citation Award. And basically that award for 2023 that I'm giving is as a group award. As you know, this past year in 2023, there was some difficult and challenging times personnel-wise for me. Mr. Jaramillo, Mr. Silva can attest that they got many calls from me saying, I don't know, personnel slim, I'm trying to get everybody in there and things like that. But what I will say is that the 7 people behind me, the dispatchers, all came through for me. There's every one of them there. I asked at one point or another to do more than expected, to come in on a holiday, to work 18 hours, to work without a day off, to do 18 hours back to back. And for that, I can't thank them enough. It was a difficult time, and thankfully we've made it through there, and we've gone past that. But I think it's quite an extraordinary accomplishment that with 8 people, we covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays included, all time of night. It's an extraordinary effort that they all came together, and they were all behind me. So whenever I had a gap in coverage, they were there to say, I got it, boss, or I'll do it, or one quick story that I'll just finish up with is during that time I can recall feeling that way. I don't know where we're going to get our next shift coverage, and I spoke to one of the dispatchers, and the dispatcher basically relayed to me, I'm going to do it because who else is going to do it? We're got to be here for the community. And that kind of showed me that they're all in it, and this is not, it wasn't about me, that what they did for me, it's what they did for the community, right? They were there because as we all know, this job is not just about them. It's the sacrifice that their family puts into, because they come in here for 18 hours and they're leaving their family for 18 hours. And so it's not just about them. It's about their family as well. So these pins will hopefully, when they can look back at and memorialize and say, this is that time of year where we were, and we pulled through together as a unit. And so I thank them for that. So the first one I'll give for Unit Citation Award, Nina Abreu. Thank you.
Thank you. This is beautiful.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Did we order the shadow boxes already?
Not yet. Brianna Gomez. Brianna, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
There you go.
And one thing I'll also mention about Brianna, we've talked about in other meetings that sometimes counties or a family, her father works for us in the fleet, her significant other works for us in public works, so it is a little bit of a family affair with the Gomez's and Garcia.
Garcia. Thank you.
Next award to Darian Trujillo. Darian, thank you.
Thank you.
Next award to Christopher Calhoun. Chris, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
There you go.
Thank you. Thanks.
Brisa Martinez. Brisa, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Leonard Ortiz. Thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, again, to Eliza Espinosa, who's again covering dispatch right now. Thank you.
Telling Roberta we'll go over as a group afterwards.
So, yeah, just in conclusion, I thank y'all for your support and appreciation of my staff. Again, I couldn't do it without them, so they've been great, and I appreciate them, so thank you.
Mr. Zaragoza, thank you for being here, and thank you for your leadership. I mean, true leaders get through the tough times, bring their team along, acknowledge their team's hard work, and that's what you're doing today. You use the phrase impactful, special, and extraordinary. That's who these people are. That's what their work is in our community. So thank you again for your leadership, and thank all of you for the really important work you do to take care of our community. Thank you.
Thank you all.
You set it up. Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll be over later. We were wondering who was covering the phones. So, this takes us to item 8 on our agenda, which is public comments. Members of the public who wish to speak have 3 minutes to talk to us. We can't take any action because anything that we do take action on needs to be published 72 hours in advance. So we can't take action or engage in conversation, but we are here to hear you. So if there's anyone in the room who would like to use their 3 minutes, I would invite you to approach the podium, tell us your name and where you live. And after we cover anyone who's in the room who would like to speak, we will open the phone lines. And the phone line that you'll use is 575-737-6310. Is that right? 737-6310. But first, we'll take comments from anyone in the room. If there's anyone here who would like to make public comment. Okay, it doesn't look like it, so I'm going to put the phone. Yes, okay, please come forward. Tell us your name and where you live, and we'll give you 3 minutes to talk to us.
Good morning, Taos Council, county members, I thank you for your presence and allowing us the opportunity to insert public comment this morning. My name is Enya. I stand before you going into the fourth month of the ongoing Israeli aggression on Gaza. My last public comment on December 7th, I spoke about the growing concern among political scientists and analysts about regional war in the Middle East, threatening international stability and security. I also stated the importance of the U.S. to enact H.R. 786, and I'd like to reaffirm and thank our town council of Taos for passing local resolution 2350, calling for a de-escalation of conflict and for a ceasefire. Only with a ceasefire, international intervention, peaceful negotiations, and unbiased, unaffiliated investigation of war crimes can there be dignity and accountability moving forward. During this first week into 2024, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is at the moment doing a diplomatic tour through the Middle East with leaders of the region holding discussions on preventing the escalation and entrance of neighboring states into the war. High-ranking Lebanese general has been assassinated since the new year, exponentially aggravating tensions. On January 7th, Hezbollah leaders have publicly announced that they will not respond idly and there will be serious consequences. There are ongoing operations in Iran, Syria, and the Red Sea contributing to regional tension, all linking back to the political objectives of the State of Israel. Leaders of the region have urged our Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to call for a ceasefire with grave concerns of spreading conflict and tragedy. So why is it important for us as residents in the U.S.? The U.S. is an unshakable ally to Israel despite public opinion's massive support for a ceasefire and end to the siege. Since October 7th, the U.S. has sent billions of dollars in military aid to Israel by passing congressional oversight and approval twice. Controversially, this challenges the basic premises of our democracy and constitutional measures which keep it intact. The U.S.'s unwavering allyship with the State of Israel isolates us from the global community, with the entire world seeing the U.S. and Israel as one and the same. A bilateral alliance is creating great enemies not only in the Middle East but in states across our world. Without a ceasefire, de-escalation of violence, return of all political prisoners, and the beginning of diplomacy, more international actors will become embedded and entangled into the conflict. It's only the beginning of 2024. The geopolitical climate has never been this inflammatory before, even considering recent contemporary geopolitics. These new developments that the U.S. continues to fund and enable, we are seen by other countries as an agent of proxies, wars internationally, but it is only a matter of time before a full-scale blowout occurs in the Middle East, which could certainly lead and put the USA at the forefront of thermonuclear war. As residents of this country, we are dutiful to speak on these concerns and will continue to advocate for de-escalation, international intervention, diplomacy, unbiased, unaffiliated investigation for the liberation of the besieged people of occupied Palestine, upon which rests the great global premise of regional stability in the Middle East and consequently international security. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to speak with us this morning? Mr. Thilke. Again, please approach the mic. Tell us your name and where you live.
Neil Thilke from Llano San Juan. I just got to thank Brianna, one of the dispatchers. I called her this morning, yesterday, 9/11. She wasn't able to help me because they were only available for fire or medical emergency. But she was really patient. And I was really freaked out because we had 11 to 14 inches of snow. But Mr. Silva, I got a hold, he sent up Leo with the plow. And here I am here today. Thank you.
Thank you. And we should let Mr. Zaragoza know that you personally thanked Brianna for her help yesterday. Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else in the room who would like to speak with us for 3 minutes? Okay, seeing nobody approaching, I've turned the phone off of Do Not Disturb. If you'd like to call and talk with us or talk to us and we'll listen, please call 575-737-6310. Good morning. You've called into the Taos County Commission meeting.
Hi, good morning. My name is Bryce Flanagan. I moved to Taos County in 2016 from Sacramento, and currently I live in Cuesta. I'm here today to draw attention of my representatives to the ongoing genocide being committed by Israel against Gazans. The following facts and statistics are sourced from ifamericans.org, and I encourage anyone listening to verify them on their own time. 1. The State of Israel was created in 1948 by forcibly removing non-Jewish Palestinians from their land and homes. Before the movement to create Israel, the inhabitants of the area were 80% Muslim, 15% Christian, and 5% Jewish. These populations coexisted without violence. Israel expropriated 4,244,776 acres of Palestinian land in 1948 alone. By 2012, Israel had appropriated 91% of the land in what was originally called Palestine. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, between 2000 and 2023, at least 33,206 Palestinians and 2,654 Israelis have been killed by someone from the other side, including 8,821 Palestinian children and 177 Israeli children. The majority of these deaths, 22,000 Palestinians and 1,139 Israelis, occurred after October 7th of last year. The United States provided Israel with $3.9 billion in military aid, the equivalent to $10.7 million every day during fiscal year 2023. 7 Israeli homes have been demolished by Palestinians, and at least 56,500 Palestinian homes have been demolished by Israel since 1967. Israel has destroyed 200 of 325 archaeological sites in Gaza since October of last year, including mosques, churches, schools, and museums. On October 16th, Prime Minister Netanyahu stated via Twitter, "This is a struggle between the children of light and the children of darkness, between humanity and the law of the jungle." This war is by definition a genocide, and I condemn the use of my tax dollars to fund these atrocities. I also thank the Taos Council for their moral courage and leadership in passing a ceasefire resolution.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you for your
Flanagan.
time.
Thank you. We have another call. Good morning. You've called into the Taos County Board of County Commissioners meeting.
Hello, this is Chaitanya Macera. I am calling on behalf of the Palestinian people, and I live in Ranchos de Taos, born and raised in New Mexico. I am calling because I recently found out that Israel is trying to pawn the responsibilities of the Gaza Strip onto the U.S. government for us to take over occupation there, and I think this is exactly what is kind of going to be really disturbing to our economy and to our society. We're also sending billions more in the last couple of weeks. Executive decisions have been made by our president, and I'm really sad to see that when our country is struggling in its economy and we can't even pay for our schools and for free education. They get free education in Israel, and we're basically paying for their survival of their economy at this point, and we're paying for their pensions and all their basic necessities. And this is wrong, and we can't keep supporting this. And I think it's really important that our members of Taos County Commissioners are going to stand up and do something. It's already over 23,000 people that have died and 7,000 that are missing. This is almost the complete total of the Taos County. And, this is over 2/3 that are confirmed dead. That's like 2 out of 3 people in this county are no longer alive. And the size of Gaza is from the gorge to the mountains from Cuesta to Taos. It's a very small area, and there's the same population, or even more than the population of New Mexico, crammed in that area. And they're all captives. They are all hostages. For the last 17 years, they haven't been able to leave. And this is very serious. And if we don't take this to every county in our country and every state in our country and force the federal government to make changes, this is going to fall into our lap, because we are now going to be taking over the responsibility with our taxpayers' money. And I just can't condone this, and I don't think the majority of America agrees that we should be doing this. It's genocide, as South Africa is now brought to the world courts. And we need to move forward in a good way and refuse our government from doing any more mistakes like this. This is really bad, and it's going to affect us, and the blood is on our hands as U.S. citizens. So thank you very much, and thank you, County Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Massara. Okay, we'll see if there's any further calls. One more call. Good morning. You've called into the Taos County Commission meeting.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Kima Nelson. I live in Taos County. I want to thank the council for passing a resolution to force a ceasefire in Gaza. And I wanted to speak today because I haven't spoken to you yet. So thank you for hearing me this morning. And thank you for caring for our beautiful state. Today is January 9th. I greet you as we are beginning the 4th month of terror being rained against Gaza after Hamas's attack on Israel. I am here to demand an immediate de-escalation and permanent ceasefire in Israel and occupied Palestine, and for the entrance of international humanitarian aid into Gaza. We have to speak to every member of government that we can to create an impact. October 7th also marks 23 years since the U.S. led attack and bombing of Afghanistan due to our fear of terrorists after 9/11. And I believe this fear continues to strengthen our tie to Israel today, and I refuse to stand by while my tax dollars are directly supporting the continued murder of thousands, and what I believe is the aimed genocide of indigenous peoples in current-day Israel and Palestine. I do not want to see more war. I am proud to be from New Mexico. I am proud to have Jewish blood, and I am proud to be African American. I am proud to live in a place where the indigenous peoples got to keep their land. This is far and few, and I pray that we may set an example here of all places in the ways we continue to show up and uplift and support indigenous communities around the world. I do not want there to be violence in the world. I do not want Hamas to continue their attacks either. No murder is justified. I believe Hamas is acting out of desperation and Israel is acting out of fear, carrying out identical tactics as did Germany during the Holocaust. I cannot and will not condone Israel's response to Hamas's attack. 1 in 100 people have been killed in Gaza since October 7th. Less than 1,200 people killed in Israel. I'm speaking to you today to encourage you to do your part in representing our voices and making a difference in the politics and the use of our money you have influence over. Please use your small, little, huge vote to help make a step. Drop a smidgen of inspiration in the hopes it may create a ripple. Pass a resolution demanding a permanent and immediate ceasefire in Gaza. And thank you for the council that already has. Help save innocent lives, send aid to the oppressed, speak truth to power, and help create balance and peace in our world. We can only do what we can. Please do what you can. When you salute the flag of New Mexico, when you pledge allegiance to the United States of America, I do not understand how you can do so in integrity right now with this war going on. Please do what you can. Please do what you can. Thank you for hearing me today. Thank you for hearing all of us again.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, we have another call. Good morning. You've called into the Taos County Commission meeting. Could you please tell us your name and where you live?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, this is Susie Schwartz. And I'm here to speak again. Once again, we thank you as always for hearing our comments. Commission, as you all know, the town of Taos adopted a ceasefire resolution on December 12th. Town of Taos is the first and so far the only governing body in New Mexico to adopt a ceasefire resolution. Taos joins the growing number of cities across the country who are demonstrating bold leadership by adopting ceasefire resolutions. Some in our community say it is not the role or duty of the local governing bodies to advocate for foreign policy. Be that as it may, national and international policies do affect us here in our small community because it is Congress in Washington, D.C. who decides how our tax dollars are spent. We think it is very important for our local reps to be informed about the actions of our Congress, who just passed a nearly $1 trillion so-called defense spending package. Congressman Teresa Ledger Fernandez voted in favor of it. Billions upon billions of our taxpayer dollars are allocated for foreign assistance in the form of military aid, not only to Israel, but to other countries whom the United States government sees as its allies. What is happening in the Middle East and elsewhere in the world does affect us. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the UN Genocide Convention adopted on December 9, 1948, were the international community's response to the atrocities committed during World War II. Never again will humankind allow a genocide against any humans, no exceptions. Meanwhile, as the Netanyahu regime continues to bomb, displace, and starve the Palestinian people, South Africa has filed a genocide suit against Israel to the UN International Court of Justice. Hearings will be held on Wednesday and Thursday at The Hague. If the World Court rules against Israel, the Biden administration will be implicated for failure to prevent and to be complicit in genocide. As the horrors continue in Gaza and occupied Palestine with no ceasefire, a broader regional war is developing. The U.S. and NATO continue to fuel the proxy war in Ukraine and to use threatening rhetoric against China and elsewhere. These provocative policies carry the growing risk of thermonuclear war, in which case there will be no winners and none of our local politics will matter. Here in New Mexico, the National Nuclear Security Administration is attempting to build an extravagantly funded plutonium factory at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. There is not time in the 3 minutes allotted to expand, but LANL is a foreign policy issue that directly affects us here in many ways, and its direct and indirect impacts on us should be known and discussed. All of this and more affects us here in Taos, and we want to help our overly busy local governing bodies, whom we greatly appreciate for their selfless service, to be as informed as possible. U.S. foreign policy and defense spending are especially important to have in mind during the imminent New Mexico state legislative sessions, where our representatives and the governor should, without question, hold our representation in Washington accountable.
Thank you, Susie.
When making decisions on behalf of your constituents.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll give it just another second before we move on. Okay, this takes us then to item 9 on our agenda. Oh, apologies, Mr. Jaramillo, you did indicate, I believe, that there's an email to be read into the public comment record.
Yes, the entire commission received this email at 8:41 a.m. So my name is Opal McCarthy. I live in Taos. Thank you for your generous attention and for your service. I know that you care deeply for this community, and I'm writing to ask you to extend that care further to join us in advocating for an immediate ceasefire in occupied Gaza and Palestine. I speak to you about care because of one video that pierced me in recent days. In this time, when the most personal and intimate losses have gotten swallowed into the spectacle of the tidal wave of violence, a young boy who appears to be sleeping, who appears through his body is bruised from a fall on the playground, being wrapped tenderly into a body bag, the arms available, the tenderness available. For a decade, I worked as a child care worker and a preschool teacher, and I have rocked many not my babies in my arms, and I have soothed the falls and tears of many not my children. I come to know deeply in the heart and blood and the bones that all children everywhere are entrusted to our care. That even if we find every way to numb the sensation, the violence against the people of Gaza, all of our responsibility, inaction will destroy parts of our humanity we'll never get back, not to mention all the play, poetry, brilliance, possibility that continues to be ripe from the world each day. I now work with high school and college students here in Taos and recognize the issues facing our community. The housing crisis, the under-resourced schools, the food insecurity are like genocide in Gaza, traceable to colonial violence and white supremacy. I come here with the honor for resilience and interweaving of indigenous cultures, including the Red Willow people, the Pueblo of Navajo and Apache, as well as the Hispanic and Latinx cultures here in Taos, in the ways these communities have resisted and continue to resist violence, and assure and in joining the call for ceasefire, I'm asking you to turn away these local realities, cultivating this resiliency, but to acknowledge that all struggles for liberation are woven together. Standing against genocide as a community is the kind of action that generates clarity and moral force, so liberates us to better work for justice here at home. I'm writing you to because of the care and grief and rage, care for my friends who have loved ones in both Palestine and Israel, grief for the murderers, in particular of Gaza's journalists and poets whose voices have been silenced and whose indelible testimony lives on, and care and grief and rage for the dead children, at least 9,000 children whose laughter calls no longer ring out, and for living children in Gaza witnessing these atrocities, and for their lives, for what their lives will be, and for our future children who will look up and ask us what we did in this time of genocide.
Thank you, Mr. Harmio, for reading Opal McCarthy's email. And now that does take us to our next agenda item, item 9 on the agenda, board appointments. This is something we do at the start of every new calendar year, kind of choose our structure for this coming year and how we represent on various boards throughout our county and our state. So item 9A is discussion and selection of a chairperson for the Taos County Board of Commissioners. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Madam Chair, I'd like to nominate Bob Romero for Chair of the County Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Is there a second for Vice Chair?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Vice Chair Romero to be Chair Romero in 2024. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes. Okay, then at this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Chair Romero, and I'll also turn over the gavel. I don't know that I used it. Can we just sit?
This is where you're at.
Yeah.
For today.
For today. We can switch things around later, but it's just easier, I think, for today. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
I want to thank the commissioners for the vote of confidence, and I want to thank Commissioner Brush for her service as chair this past year. We had a lot of accomplishments. I think number one for me was the reduction in the vacancy rate. I believe it was about 27% in January last year, and I think in December it went down to about 18%. And we had major positions that were filled, including financial director, economic development director, facilities director, and positions throughout the county. And I think that as a result of that, we also had another big accomplishment, which it actually was a result of the compensation plan that was finalized and implemented. And this put us in position to attract a number of new employees, as we saw this morning, that came in. And also, I think another major accomplishment was the communications, improvement in communications, and in the working relationship with the Holy Cross Hospital. it led to the passage of the GRT in November for improvements at the Holy Cross Hospital and also for the UNM nursing program. We also had some accomplishments in terms of major progress on our showcase. I like to call them our showcase projects, Taos County Courthouse and Veteran Cemetery. I see Mr. Francis Cordova here. That's been one of his major initiatives, and thank you very much for your work on that. And also, I think we had some improvements in the roads. Last but not least, our roads. But in addition to that, we had some transfers of some properties. One was the detox center from the town to the county, and then the Philemon Sanchez Park from the county to the town. And so we also have made major progress on purchase of properties by the county, and that moved forward very well. And in the roads, we did some improvements there, chip sealing roads throughout the county. So we had a very good year. I think the state of the county is very sound, and we move forward to this year. We have goals and priorities this year that we're looking at in terms of policy. I think we're looking at review and revision of the land use regs. That'll be a tough one. We're looking at putting in place short-term rentals. And so just to wrap it up real quick, then we have done had major accomplishments this year. And so we're looking forward to the challenges this year, and it takes a team. It takes a team to work, working relationship between the management and the commissioners and the elected officials and staff. So we're looking forward to this year. We'll have a lot to do, and so I think another important thing that we need to work on is communications. That's always a challenge, and so we again need to make sure that all commissioners are in the loop. So with that, I will move forward and open up the nominations for vice chair and commissioners.
Mr. Chair, make the motion.
What?
For Ronald Mascarenhas as a vice chair.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor for Mr. Ron Mascarenhas to serve as vice chair. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second by Ms. Darlene Vigil. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vigil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Okay, congratulations, Mr. Mascarenhas. Would you like to make a comment? Okay. Look forward to working with you on the chair, vice chair, and the rest of the commissioners. Okay, we'll move forward on the agenda, and we have the board appointments that we do also on an annual basis, and we have this is 9. We have A through K, and pardon? C through K.
We already did A.
What? We did AB. Yeah. Okay. See, correction. We now are on C, and I think on this one we need to expedite it if possible, and so commissioners, leave it to the will of the commissioners. But could we approve C through K, maybe with the exception of I, because that's a new one, and maybe we could have the motion to include the board appointments of last year, because I see that we do not have the one that is Mr. Commissioner Vigil is on from last year. We'll hold on right now.
So these are the existing ones.
What is the preference of the commission to move forward individually on each one or to move it, to expedite it?
Chair, if I may?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, well, I would like to speak for myself here in that I would like to continue on the boards that I certainly have been part of from the day I walked in. I think stability and there's some momentum that's happening within all these areas. So I would propose that if we're all comfortable with continuing where we're at, that we do that. Now, I don't know if we can legally do this as one shot, or do we have to do them individually? We do. Okay.
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 Okay, let's go ahead forward individually and deal with 9C, discussion selection of member and alternate for the Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area Board.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to I move that that Commissioner Vihil remain our member and Commissioner Romero remain our alternate.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on 9C. Madam Chair, please call the roll. Or, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Okay, we move to 9D, discussion, selection member, and alternate for the Intergovernmental Council Board. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to keep FR Bob Romero as the member for 2024 and Ron Mascareñas as the alternate for the Intergovernmental Council.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second by Commissioner Vihil. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Okay, we'll move to, yes. We'll move to 9E, discussion, selection of member and alternate for Taos County Economic Development Council.
Mr. Chair, I move that Commissioner Vihil remain our member and Commissioner Romero remain our alternate for TCEDC Board.
We have a motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Ms. Brush, second by Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we move then to 9G, 9F, discussion selection of a member and alternate for North Central New Mexico Economic Development District.
I make a motion that we nominate Anjanette Brush, Commissioner Brush, as the member and the alternate Commissioner Romero. Miguel.
We have a motion by Mr. Hill. We have a second. We have a second by Mr. Miguel. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we move to 9G, discussion and selection of a member and alternate to the North Central Regional Transit Board. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that Vice Chair Mascareñas remain as our member with Commissioner Vihil as our alternate for the North Central Regional Transit District Board.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Romero. Madam Clerk, call it roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we move to 9H, discussion and selection of a member and alternate for the Northern Area Workforce Board.
I would like to, oh, go ahead.
Did you make a motion, Madam?
I thought I had interrupted. I will make a motion that our member would continue with Commissioner Romero, Miguel Romero, and alternate Commissioner Brush.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have motion and second. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Move to I, discussion selection of a member and alternate for the Community Schools Initiative. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
I will make a motion. I turned it off. I will make a motion that Commissioner Brush be the member. And I wouldn't mind being the alternate.
We have
Thank you.
motion and second for the item 9I for the new initiative. Madam Clerk, call the vote. Call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And finally, 9K, discussion and selection of a member and alternate for the Holy Cross Hospitals.
No.
Oh, did I miss one? IJ, discussion and selection of member and alternate for the Taos County Cooperative Weed Management Area Board. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for Darlene Vihil to be the member for 2024 and Anjanette Brush to be the alternate for the Weed Management Board.
We have a motion and second for IJ. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes. I'm
Commissioner
sorry.
Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And finally, 9K, discussion selection of a member and alternate for the Holy Cross Medical Center Nominating Committee Board. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Motion to, for our chair, Bob Romero, to continue as the member. And I guess we don't have an alternate. It appears.
Okay. Motion is there a second for,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Commissioner Mascarenhas. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Okay, thank you. We got through that. Okay. We'll move on to 10, the minutes of approval of the December 5th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that we approve the December 5th, 2023 regular meeting minutes with two small edits. On page 5, line 217, there's a quote that says, "This appeal hasn't been a difficult situation." I believe what Ms. Stapleford said was, "This appeal has been a difficult situation." And on page 7, line 306, Hank Sachs is S-A-X-E instead of S-A-C-K-S as presented. So my motion is to approve them with those two edits.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Brush, second by Commissioner Vahil to approve the minutes of December 5th. Madam Clerk, please call the vote. The roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And then we move to approval of the December 9th, 2023 joint meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Miguel Romero, second by Commissioner Darlene Vahil. Madam Chair, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And I believe we removed 10C on the minutes of December 19th. So we'll move to,
I don't think we did.
we didn't?
No.
Okay, so we do have them available and ready to approve. Okay. So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve of the December 19, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. Mascarenhas. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Now we move to 11 presentations. Do we have Sheriff Mieta?
Sheriff Meta is not available this morning, so yes, that he could come in and present at another meeting.
Okay, do we need to table that or just move forward?
You could probably table that.
I make a motion to table 11A, a presentation to the insight into the calls for service and crime statistics within Taos County for 2023 by our Taos County Sheriff Steve Nieta for another time. We don't know that time at this moment, so for a future meeting. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and second to table. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we move to 12 resolutions and ordinances. 12A is discussion, consideration, decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2034-1, a resolution pursuant to the New Mexico Open Meetings Act establishing public meeting procedures of the Taos County Board of Commissioners. Mr. Jaramillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before you have the Open Meetings Act. This resolution has been reviewed by legal counsel. Mr. Trujillo has reviewed it and which stands for approval. I believe Commissioner Brush may have an amendment or one change to that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Manager Jaramillo. I know a year or two ago, we updated the agenda item called Citizens Concerns to public comment. My request is simply that we amend both this and our next item to reflect that change. So I move that we approve item 12A, a resolution pursuant to the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, establishing public meetings procedures of the Taos County Board of Commissioners with that update to public comment.
Okay, we have a motion second to make a change on this particular resolution, reflecting we've changed to public comments rather than public concerns. Any discussion?
None.
If there's no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascareñas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes, and I would mention that the meeting dates do remain the same on this one, being the same schedule we had last year, first and third Tuesdays of the month.
Correct.
Okay, we'll move forward to 12B, discussion, consideration, decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-2, a resolution adapting policies and procedures for the conduct of county commission meetings. Mr. Jaramillo.
Yes, thank you, Chair Romero. This resolution has been in place for at least 4 to 5 years now. This resolution is just adopting how the commission as a board will conduct the county commission meetings and how items get to be placed on the agenda. I recommend approval.
Okay, we have a recommendation from the manager. Do we have a motion? Discussion after motion.
Okay, go ahead. No, I make a motion to approve, and I believe Commissioner Brush, you said also with that correction, with the changing the word to public comments instead of public concerns.
And I will second, but with discussion or a question or two.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this resolution, open for discussion. No.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Brush.
I have just 2 quick questions. One on page 4, number 4. It says no member of the board shall send correspondence or present themselves as the board without prior consent in an open meeting of the board. This might be a question for Mr. Trujillo. That appears under item C, public hearings, but I'm not sure if would that not apply to more broadly and not just public hearings? Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Trujillo. My only other question, Mr. Chair, is in page 13 on section 8.
In relation to number 4, sorry to interrupt, Chair, remember members of the commission. In the past, the commission did have a former member that was soliciting information for public hearings that pertained to the planning department. So they were doing, I think back then they called it investigative work, or I can't remember the term that was used, but they were soliciting information outside of the public hearing. So when you're hearing an appeal of the commission, it's generally de novo. And so you can only hear information that's here, and you can only solicit information that's been provided or use information that's been provided by the planning department. That's why it's under public hearings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Jaramillo. My only other question is on page 13, section 8, reference to Sergeant at Arms. Is the intent that we're to have representation for our meetings?
In other words, are you asking, are we required to have a sergeant of arms at every meeting?
It's item 8.5 on page 13.
So is that your question? That, yeah, okay.
Thank you,
Mr.
Chair.
Jaramillo, are we required, or is it just if it's necessary?
It's just if it's necessary. So in the past, former Sheriff Hogreff would attend the meetings, and if anything got unruly, it was the sheriff or his designee's responsibility to come and settle the meeting down. So that's where that came into play, and it's probably happened about 8 years ago was the last time the sheriff had to stand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions or further discussion on this one, commissioners? If not, call for the question. Madam Chair, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we'll move to 12C, discussion and consideration decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-3, a resolution appointing members to the Taos County Board of Adjustments for calendar year 2024. Ms. Rachel Romero.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Mr. Jaramillo, Mr. Trujillo. Thank you for your time today. I come before you to present the resolution 2024-3, the appointing members to the Taos County Board of Adjustment. And just to give you a little bit of insight or a little bit of a refresher, the Board of Adjustment is one of our boards within the planning department. And their duties are to hear cases of variances that are variances to the land use regulations. So most common is setbacks. Setbacks are 20 feet from the front, 10 feet from the sides and the back. Oftentimes there's a parcel of land where it's a smaller parcel and there's not too much room to build. And so it'll be a setback variance. Another example would be a variance setback for from the rivers, or a height variance. There's different combinations of variances that are allowed. The other items that they hear are appeals of decision from the building official, the certified building official, which is my other hat that I wear, and rarely appeal of a decision, an administrative decision from the planning director. So if you recall, there was the appeal that of the Taos gravel properties, of where the planning department made the determination that it was a non-conforming use, also known as a grandfathered use. So that's also another item that they would hear. So before you today, if you take a look at page 2, our members this year are Mr. Mark Yerovitz, Mr. Ted Terry, and Mr. Thomas Tafoya. And I stand for any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Ms.?
No, other than just say, thank you for explaining that. That really helps to understand what they do. Thank you. With that being said, I will make a motion to approve the resolution, Taos County Resolution Number 2024-3, appointing members to the Taos County Board of Adjustment for calendar year 2024, as
Yeah.
presented. Thank you.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-3. Had one further question. Was there a change in composition from last year on the board?
Yes, this year we have 2 new members, Mr. Thomas Tafoya and Mr. Ted Terry. Mr. Mark Yerovitz is a continuous member from last year. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Further questions? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Thank
And
you.
if I could just add one more thing, I would like to recognize Mr. Ted Terry, who's in the audience with us today. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome aboard. And we'll move to D9 or 12D, which is discussion, consideration, decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-4, a resolution appointing members to the Taos County Planning Commission for calendar year 2024. Rachel.
Okay, again, thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. And so Resolution 2024-4, Planning Commission. The duties of the Planning Commission, they also hear variances, but the only time they hear a variance is when it's linked to an application that they're also hearing. So the main applications that they hear are special use zoning clearance permits, major development permits, and so they would also hear variances if they were linked to those types of permits. So rather than taking it to the Board of Adjustment and then taking it to the Planning Commission, they would hear the case as a whole. They also hear items, listen to amendments to the land use regulations and amendments to the official zoning map, rezonings, subdivisions. They also hear when we have updates to the comprehensive plan as well. And so now that we're going to be going through the exercise of updating our comprehensive plan and also updating our land use regulations as well as the subdivision regulations, they will hear those updates and then they will make recommendations to bring it to the Board of County Commissioners. So with that said, I have our members for 2024 is Miss Judy Torres, Mr. Luis Gallegos, Mr. Rick Edelman, Mr. John Delmargo, and Mr. John Tingu. And all members are all existing members of the Planning Commissioner, for the exception of Mr. John Tingu is, he was a member of the Board of Adjustments last year and is now moved over to the Planning Commission with your approval.
Motion to approve Resolution 2024-4.
Second?
We have a motion by Mr. Mascarenhas, second by Ms. Brush to approve resolution on the appointment of Taos County Planning Commission. Any further questions or discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we'll
Thank
move to, thank you, Rachel. Move to 12F, discussion and consideration and decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-6. Oh, okay, I moved that one too fast. This is discussion, consideration, decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-5, a resolution combining the Taos County Administrative Fire Department and the Taos County Emergency Medical Services Department for a newly formed Fire and Rescue Department, repealing and replacing previous resolutions. Mr. Mike Corolla.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations on the changing of the arms, if you will. And also, just real quick, sorry, I want to just thank Director Zaragoza for what he did and what he's done to turn that department around and sticking through it. So he doesn't get the thanks either a lot, but he's done a really good job. He works well with us. So I just wanted to throw that out there. He's done great. So yeah, before you is what we talked about previous meeting. All it is just changing our title. So we encompass rescue, EMS, and fire, everything as a whole is all it is. I stand for any questions.
Questions, Commissioner?
My only question is, do we need to name the resolution that we're replacing or it's, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to add more work here, but it says that it's a replacement, right? Or am I
Correct.
looking at the wrong one?
No, you're correct. Brent.
There was two other previous resolutions. One, when we designated the administrative fire chief position. And then there was another one that combined fire and EMS, but didn't really combine it. We still acted as two departments. When Chris Medina retired is when we fully implemented acting as one department.
Okay.
So this resolution, before you does make it one department now versus the two that had been kind of acting as, there still be multiple budgets for this new department, but we're combining it as one and giving Mike that authority, or Chief Cordova that authority that he didn't really have previously.
So this lays out the structure.
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have
Go
one
ahead.
question. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate this. I had a kind of an interesting question from a constituent that just said, hey, I'm a regular person in the community. How does this benefit me?
So
How
the
would
way
you
it
answer that?
benefits now is our current EMS staff that was strictly EMS. Now they're under the spectrum of fire rescue. So now we have the benefit of helping the sheriff's office with any rope rescue stuff, or if we have rope rescue operations, which we've already been implementing. But the major thing is now the 18 EMS staff that we have are going to be trained fire as well. So in future meeting, we'll have to talk about the para-retirement and stuff. And we just finished our first class, which I was on the phone with last meeting. We had 13 go through, 8 of them did pass. A couple have to go retest, but we're already starting that process. So our hope is in July that everybody passes, they're done. We can do a ceremony for them. But what it is now paid staff coverage to help my volunteer districts is what it is. So they'll be able to either pump a truck, do whatever they need to do to help out my districts, especially during the day. And our goal is to get crews down in Penasco first. One, it'll give us an extra EMS truck, but two, they'll be able to start responding to fire calls with Penasco Fire, and it gives Chief Saad an extra 2 or 3 people down there to help them out during the daytime where our volunteers are at work. So it's just extending the coverage, if you will.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I just have a quick question, Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
And just brought to memory that someone asked me this question, and that is if the EMS crew was comfortable with becoming now having to do the training for fire and vice versa.
Sure, and I will say absolutely. The two that I thought may not have been comfortable with, they passed. They did it with no issues. They went through it, had no complaints, and absolutely, yeah, they were.
Great, that's great to hear, because I know when folks, decide what their career is going to be, they're, they sign up for a particular thing, and then now it's been changed.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy to hear.
Yeah, and all it is just to better the community and the volunteer districts as well. We're seeing that lack of no recruitment just because it's a volunteer thing, and we gotta, as the county and me as chief, have to respect and watch out for everybody in this county. And by doing this, I think the county itself is able to be more prepared to help out.
Okay. Do we have motion to approve?
Mr. Chair, I move approval of resolution number 2024-5, a resolution combining the Taos County Administrative Fire Department and the Taos County Emergency Medical Services Department.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second to approve resolution, let me get this right, 2024-5. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And now we'll move to 12F, discussion, consideration, decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-6, resolution approving and adopting additional compensation for EMS licensure.
Yes, resolution 24-6 gives our fire rescue personnel additional compensation. When you go through EMS schooling, you get different levels of licensure. You start off as a basic, then you start off as an intermediate, and the most complex is a paramedic. With those different levels, it gives you the ability to administer different types of legal authorized narcotics and to be able to run a line of, if need be, an intermediate can run a line. I don't think a basic can, right? And so it just has the different levels that somebody can do. So when they're staffing the ambulances, they do try to pair different skill sets. So what this resolution does, and this pay adders, as we're calling it, compensates the fire rescue personnel for the different level of licensure. And so that's what we're accounting for. This has been placed into the budget that the commission approved in July. This was in there. So for a paramedic, they're going to receive an additional compensation of $3 per hour. An intermediate is going to receive an additional compensation of $1.25. And that's it, right? Correct. We stand for any questions?
Commissioners, any questions?
Oh, to provide a little more context, myself, Chief Cordova, I believe Deputy Manager Silva was present, and our HR Director Gina Elam was present. We met with the union president, Patty Garcia. She agreed to the changes. The resolution was presented to her. Ms. Elam codified it in an email to Ms. Garcia. We wanted Ms. Garcia to acknowledge that she had agreed to it, and we didn't receive the return email. We did look into this morning, that when Mr. Trujillo brought this to mine and Ms. Elam's attention, we're looking for that acknowledgement by the union. And we, other than the verbal approval that we received from her that day, but I am comfortable recommending to the board that we do adopt this resolution, and because it might be a while before there's a full-blown union meeting to adopt it. And then it's not only for our union members, but this resolution also covers our casual employees for us as well.
Thank you, Mr. Jaramillo. What is the will of the commission?
And once again, Chair, if I may, this was part of the original compensation plan. It's already worked in there, so we're safe there. And you've got something, you said in via email? Okay.
We sent out an email to Ms. Garcia asking for her to concur with the discussion that we had. So Ms. Elam sent out an email memorializing everything we discussed, and we're looking for Ms. Garcia to concur with that memorial.
And if I may, Chair, so Patrick, does that suffice? As far as
So to also put in some more, the employees have been waiting for this, so
yes.
to the employee, so they've been pushing on Chief Cordova has in turn pushed on myself to make sure that we have this resolution. And that's why we did this quick meeting with the union president. We couldn't get it on the meeting of the 20th, but we were of December 20th. So we at least got notified the union prior to that meeting. I can't remember why we couldn't get it on the last meeting in December.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve based on the manager's conversation or what he's brought forth, assuring us that that conversation did happen. And so I know the staff has been waiting patiently, and this is something we commissioners approved way back when. So, you know, we need to move on it. So I make a motion to approve.
I will second the motion to approve resolution number 2024-6, approving and adopting additional compensation for EMS licensure.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hill, second by Ms. Brush. Is there further discussion or questions? If not, Madam Clerk, call for the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. And we'll move, thank you, Mr. Cordova, Mr. Jaramillo. And we'll move to 12G, discussion and consideration decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-7, a resolution authorizing the county to submit an application to the Department of Finance and Administration, Local Government Division, to participate in the local DWI grant and distribution program. Mr. Robles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission. I'd like to say congratulations, sir. Also, I want to say thank you to Madam Chair and Vice Chair for all the help they did in our program for last year. I'm here to discuss the 2024-7 resolution is, again, this year, like the past 3 years that I've written for the grant, is asking the county if it's okay that I continue to write for the grant. Every year, we seem to be getting a little more money into the program for our community and the help. So far, I've been writing the grant for about 3 years and getting close to $170,000 for treatment for our community. And I'm looking to get another 50 to 80,000 again this year. And I have to write for that every year. So I'm requesting that the county allow me to submit an application.
Questions?
Just a comment, Chair.
Comment?
I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to thank Johnny. He and his team have done an awesome job running that entire program. And so because of your success, you bring in quite a bit of money. So I just want to thank you for that. And I'll make a motion to approve unless others have questions.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
to be very specific, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-7, a resolution authorizing the county to submit an application to the Department of Finance and Administration, Local Government Division to participate in the local DWI grant and distribution program.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for resolution 2024-7. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Romero? Yes. Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Robles. And we move to 12H, discussion and consideration decision regarding approval of resolution number 24-8, the resolution appointing the DWI Planning Council. Mr. Rodello.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commission. This is showing the DWI Planning Council. Every year we put in for that council. The only change this year is the Chief of Police of Cuesta will be taking over for the other person that was in Cuesta due to the fact that she retired from her position and went on to bit, I guess, other things. So that's the only change in that. And we're here today to request this resolution to be passed so that I can turn it in with the grant.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I just have one question for Mr. Rodello, which is that this is a really impressive group of people that you bring together. Is the panel, is the group pretty active in what they do and how?
Very, very active. Part of the DWI day that I had here that I kind of put together, all this council was together to put this and bring it up. And so their ideas, their thoughts are all put together. Law enforcement is heavy within our group. We discussed DWI stops this year, and I wrote for a special grant. There was only 13 counties who went after it. I wrote for 92,000 and got 82,000. And we're looking to maybe get a flashing sign that shows the words like DWI stop ahead and stuff. So we're going to be looking into that to see if DFA will allow me to do that. So we got a lot of good ideas, a lot of new things happening this year, but I guess in my presentation, whenever Mr. Jaramillo would like me to present, I'll let you know more about that.
Thank you, Mr. Rodello. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve resolution -8?
Mr. Chair, I move approval of resolution number 2024-8, appointing the DWI Planning Council.
Second. A motion by Mrs. Brush, second by Mr. Romero. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Rodello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission. That's all I have. May be dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll move to 12I, discussion and consideration decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2024-9, a resolution of the Board of County Commission donating approximately 18 acres of the Taos County Veterans Cemetery to the New Mexico Department of Veterans Affairs. Mr. Jaramillo.
No, I'm sorry for the pause, because that title is incorrect. What we're doing on the resolution, apologize, this is an incorrect resolution. The purpose of this resolution is to combine our two lots, tract A and B, into one single tract of approximately 38.65 acres. And we'll have one tract of land that's going to be dedicated to the Veterans Cemetery. So the purpose of this is to combine the two the two lots into one lot and dedicate the whole 38 acres, 38.577 acres for a veteran cemetery.
So, Chair, if I may?
Mr. Hill.
So this is not to transfer over
No.
to the veterans?
No. Let's table this for a moment because I think the wrong thing got presented.
Okay.
And I should have caught it on the agenda.
You're saying you want this tabled
And we might call it back up. I need to go run upstairs because the resolution that has been reviewed by the Department of Veteran Services. I don't think this is the right resolution.
Motion to table for a moment?
Okay, who made the motion, Mr. Hill? Motion by Mr. Hill, motion second by Commissioner Miguel Romero to table. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that we go into recess for 10 minutes.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Brush?
Yes.
Vice Chair Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes. Okay, we'll be in recess for 10 minutes.
It was warmer last night up to the house.
Is it warm? Is it warm? Yeah, this is warmer than the other one that we got. This is all we know.
Thank you for getting warm ones.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hassle.
We'll do it next time. How are you, sir?